My name is Diana LePage, and I'm a lover of Mayor Balbas. 100%. Okay, so I was thinking it was quite interesting how Bill started out. His family even had to sell their house and move in with relatives because the Depression just wiped them out financially. Whereas my karma was the absolute opposite. I was born into a very wealthy family, 5-story house, elevator up and down, 3 Rolls Royces and a Bentley in the garage, and some 4-wheeled. I mean, it was like surreal. And I feel like the reason Baba put me in that situation was it let me know I felt so lost. A situation like that, beautiful home, beautiful everything, the people were good, all of that, but your senses are drawn out of you. So I just felt like, I don't know why I'm here. I can't seem to fit into this. It seems like what other people plug into and get happiness and satisfaction from didn't work for me. So, and it let me know not to strive for that. It was quite obvious that wasn't my path. And I was born with a passion for art. I was drawing before I could write. I mean, I remember always drawing. And also, I was born with this particular eye condition. And that was because when I was in my mother's womb, she had a virus, and the virus attacked my retina and destroyed it, basically, and I don't have any central vision. I've got peripheral vision, no absence of cones in the retina. I don't see color. I don't have a depth perception, and what was the other thing? Well, obviously I don't have distance.
The reason you don't see colour.
No.
So your paintings look to you are all black and white.
Well, later on, that's a whole different thing. But the whole painting thing later on, that's why I went into sculpture when I was young. Want to talk about that?
No,
that's a whole different thing, really, but it's a whole different.
So continue on.
Yeah. So, and also like being. They didn't know what the problem was. They thought maybe it was a psychological problem. They didn't know when I was young that it was a visual problem, and so it meant that I really didn't play outside because I can't see in the light. That's the one thing I can't do, really can't do. Everything just turns white. And so I would play indoors with myself, and I'd draw all the time and make stories in my drawings to myself. And I'd have this particular dream that was really part of, what can you call it, your inner life? What is it? It's your life, but you don't talk about it with other people. You find out this is just your little number. And what it was I would have this white horse that would come into my bedroom. This is in the dream. Come into my bedroom at night and come up beside the bed. And it didn't talk, but you don't expect a horse to talk. And it would sort of look at me and go, so I knew that meant, come on. So I'd follow it, get out of bed. We'd go into my closet, go through the secret door in my closet and outside. And it was always a moonlit night. And we'd come to a mountain, and there was a cave in the mountain. We'd go into it, and it was the world of the horses. And every time I had a dream, it would be a different adventure in this. And the white horse was never part of the action, but like he was standing behind me. And if I had a question, I could look to him, and he'd either go, helpful like that. And I drew this horse so many times. And when I was about 12, going to a summer camp kind of thing, I made a book for my grandparents called God's Most Beautiful Creature, and it was about this horse. And okay, so I have to tell you that because that fits into later. Okay, so then I did, like I said, I always had this passion for art, and I knew I didn't have the talent for being an art teacher. I just knew that. And I thought if you really want to be an artist, you have to get to Paris. So you have to learn French at school. So really study your French. So I really did. And I got over there on a junior year abroad thing. And I stayed because I became apprenticed to two sculptors. Now see, the sculptors, that relieved me of this idea that I have to worry about color, because all my life I'd had doctors and everyone telling me, you don't see color. So, okay, good, sculpture, that's it. So I was apprenticed to two sculptors. One of them had been the head of the studio for a man named Antoine Bourdelle, who was the head of the studio for Rodin. So it was a very traditional line of artwork. And I loved it. That's what I wanted, a profession, not just a hands-on. And after like 2.5 years in Paris, I moved back to California, and I moved into an artist colony south of LA called Laguna Beach, which I could sell everything I made because people came there to buy art. And that was good. And then my younger brother told me about Meher Baba. And I didn't buy it at all. I was into cosmic consciousness, not some guy in India. And at this time, my brother, he was in such a honeymoon state. He would sort of wear a little ochre loincloth, and incense and vegetarian, the whole, and sign letters to me, a lover of he who loves you more than you can ever love yourself. And I, no. So he did go to the 69 Darshan, and he's the little brother that painted the painting in the Samadhi years later. So he was no dumbbell, okay? He knew what he was talking about, and it was me that took so long to come. And it was like he came back from India. I can still see him coming in the door. By this time, Bill is my third husband, okay? So my first husband, we had the two little boys. I can remember my brother coming in the door, and it was like from that point my life just fell apart. Baba had to get the bananas out of my ears, So I got to the point where I ended up, there's a lot of personal pain and stuff like that. I'm not going to go, I don't mind going through if it helps anybody, but I think right now we're not focusing on that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think you probably are the best judge of what's relevant to your story.
Yeah. But he pounded me down low enough that yes, all of a sudden I'm reading Baba and I'm wishing Baba was who he said he was. Okay? The part that was hard for me was he says he's Jesus. How can he say he's Jesus? And so then my brother says, hey, there's these two old Baba lovers that are coming to Pasadena, which is where I was living by now. I'd divorced, first one in the family to get a divorce, all very humiliating, blah, blah, blah. So I'm living in Pasadena, and I went to hear these two people talk. These were people that have been with Baba since 1930, Darwin and Jean Shaw. Now, when Darwin starts, now I'm interested, but I'm not sold on it, And I walk in, and Darwin gives everyone a hug, and he gives me a hug, and I think to myself, he thinks I'm a Baba lover, And so I sat down, and he starts out talking, and he says, in this age, the Kali Yuga, in the Hindu tradition, the name for the avatar is Kalki, and he's symbolized by the white horse. And that's why, see, I'm getting goosebumps over. That's why Meher Baba is sometimes called the white horse avatar. And that got my attention full time, and that and the love in the room, and I knew that there was something here for me, and really that is the beginning of my relationship with Mayor Baba.